Hey guys, Danny here at Partay. So I'm just going to show a quick clip here. This was me and my sons at the Clemson UNC game this past Saturday. Great day, great game. It stayed neck and neck up until the last couple of minutes, and then UNC pulled away from Clemson, and it was a good day for us. So I would like to welcome you to the first episode of Bird Brain Chronicles. And this is going to be where once a week I'm going to put up an upload that just gives you guys an update of the status of all the charges and lawsuits that are supposedly coming my way from Kenneth Bird at Black Series Edition LLC. Now, you guys remember that Kenneth said that I was going to throw Silent and Crow underneath the bus. Right. Well, as it turns out, Ken's good customer, thank you so much for your support, Hector, threw him underneath the tires of the bus. All right, so I'll get to that in just a second. Let's first cover these updates. So first update is Kenneth has told his audience, whoever's listening to him out there, that he has contacted Sony, and because I use the phrase PSP, or the acronym PSP, which stands for Premium Screen Paints, that he talked to Sony, and now Sony's going to be suing me. So I reached out proactively to Sony just to speak to their U.S. legal team. And it turns out there's no such thing. Nothing's been reported, but even if it was, there's absolutely nothing that they could or would do. Because you can't really copyright acronyms. What you can do is you can trademark them in a certain, use a certain font and come up with a stylistic way of doing them, and you can trademark that. But there's tons of PSP acronyms out there in the world. And ironically, guess what one of them is? The Pennsylvania State Police. There's also a PSP airport. I believe it's in Florida, but there's literally just hundreds of PSP acronyms that are used out there on the web. So not going to happen. Debunked. The next thing is that the FBI was going to be coming after me for fraud because of my range game. So, again, I proactively reached out. For one, they don't even get involved in those kind of matters. That is not something that they would do. If that was something, they would flip it over to the Federal Trade Commission if it was a big enough deal. But none of this occurs. And in the end, there is no such thing as range gain. Doesn't exist. That's made up by Ken. I have an approximate gain range, which is a specification with a cautionary statement, a link there, that if you click that, it goes to the application page. And in the first bulletin before you start, I actually cover there the types of rollers and how, if you use thicker rollers or use highly textured rollers, that it can end up, impacting your gain. Now, it's still going to be within the range that we gave there. So that's a CYA statement, and we're covered. And it is not some feature or attribute that I'm trying to sell. So not something that would ever be considered fraud. So there, Ken, are two of your claims that are completely and totally debunked. And it's now incumbent upon you, as all of this is, it's completely incumbent upon you to prove me wrong. And you have to prove me wrong at this point. And that's why we're going to do this weekly segment, so that we can show whether or not you're able to prove me wrong. And we'll have a little fun with it at your expense. Those big whopper claims require whopper proof. And that's where you always fall flat on your face. So how did Hector throw Ken underneath the tires of the bus? Well, in a recent Crow's Cast, Hector was there. He goes under the handle of Ritok Ra. He was there trying to score some bounty points with the community. That's going to be an uphill challenge, my friend, because we all know that no matter what you say, you've actually recorded these things just like Ken, erroneously, all right, maliciously, and you've done it in a manner so that you can gain from it. And it's just fraud, man. Just fraud. So you got that hill to climb, and that's on you. I have no part in any of that. But Internal War of God 777 someone out there on the Crowcast asked Hector specifically, does Ken's stuff really work on 1,000 lumens? And he responded, no, it does not. And as a matter of fact, Internal War of God 777 didn't, I think, see his response and ask again and again. Hector replied, no, I said no, it doesn't work with 1,000 lumens, which completely goes against the grain of what Ken's been out there saying. And as a matter of fact, it bothered him so bad he had to come out and the next day in an upload, or a couple of days later, I think, in an upload. And you noticed it was totally out of context. He started talking about how he didn't have to use high lumen projectors. He could use 1,000 lumen projectors. He could use 800 lumens. He could use all of that. And for the second time, he started spitting back at Hector, not saying his name, but basically talking about, well, the people that he works with, they just don't have the same passion he does. That, he's there. I find it funny that in one upload, he'll be talking about money not meaning anything to him. But then whenever he gets into these situations, he's like, these guys just don't realize how much money we could make millions. But we know that that's a lie. And his own boy confessed that that was a lie. So, sorry, things aren't working out for you over there, Ken, and it's not going to get any better. So, I'll leave you guys with that, but once again, we'll have this once a week. You guys take care, and I'll be coming out with some projection information, something that's not about Knucklehead Ken, and we'll carry from there. You guys take care.